I'm all green here. We're live.
I think we're good.
Yeah, well, we were live for a few minutes last time. I'll let it run here for a second, see what happens. Because I mean, there's nothing worse than you being like mid conversation with somebody while you're live, and then they just dump out, and you're like, I don't know what to do. You know, like I'm stuck here streaming, and I can't like turn it off and then come back and turn it back on. Yeah. So before we start the show proper, how was your day, man?
It was good. I had today off, so I'm chilling.
Oh man, that is a good day. Lucky you.
It aligned perfectly.
I had a long day. I really did. Just crunched at office. Just crunched. Boss says it's one of those things where I have a like a very particular time frame that I have to get a certain amount of work done, and it's like one of those situations where our office also has 10 other projects that need to be done now. So my boss keeps like throwing me fires. He's like, "We need to do this right away," and it's like, okay, but if you do that, that means this other big thing's not going to get done. He's like, we'll get it done. I'm like, that's not how it works. It's not like, we'll just do it later. Like, that's not how it goes.
See, I work at night, so it's like morning for me right now.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to work nights. How long have you done that?
Going on 2 years now.
Yeah. 12-hour shifts?
No, just 8.
No,
not bad.
I used to do 12. That's how I got started. I cut my teeth doing 12-hour shifts. Like 6 days a week when I was fresh out.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. All right. We look okay. 2 minutes. No drop frames. No issues. Green lights across the board. I don't know what that was.
I don't know.
But here's hoping it's done. All right. You ready to start the show in earnest again?
Yes. For the first time only. This is our first hit.
You've had a bad experience, man. It's not good. Okay. I'm going to pop out the chat. Maybe that's what did it last time. Ooh, Deuterino's in the chat. Hello. Thanks for dropping by. Sorry, we ran into some technical issues in start number 1, so I'm just kind of giving it a minute to see what happens next. We've got some breaking news to discuss. It's going to be fun. All right. Let's do this thing properly. Greetings, Kooplings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack. My name is Donnie Reese, and we are still on Kara Watch 2019 as she continues to move into her new bungalow, her new McMansion. She's been sharing all of these pictures this week of her new game room, which I'm sure she's going to do I'm expecting her to do like some sort of streamer video tour, like some sort of YouTuber cribs thing, where like she does like video editing, like she opens the door to her house. She's just like, oh, hello. Let me come and show you my gaming room. She'll do it up with lights and all that. That friendly chuckle sound that you hear is my co-host. So we kind of got put in a bind. Not really a bind, but we got put in a tight spot because we got the swift resignation of one Jason Lacey. We miss you. And then Caroline had to move. And she was all like, I'll do it. And I was like, there's no way. If you've never moved a house before. I don't think she realized. And every day she pops into Discord and she's like, oh my God, my life is hell. And we're like, yeah, you're moving. But yeah, we raised the banner and I was like, look, Nintendo podcast family, we need some help. We need some stand-ins. And of course the Nostalgia crew came through in the last 2 weeks. And then Pat came from... Go ahead.
What's up, man? Yeah, Pat from Nintendo Talk here. First time on PSVG. This is good, man.
Yeah.
You've been on my channel, so that's fun. Thank you for having me, man.
With Joe. And then
Joe and the Gurinator.
Oh, God. He who will not be named. Not him. No,
he was on when you were there, or no? Was that during
No. Yeah, that was, I guess, during the death period of one Nintendo guru. But yeah. So you guys do great stuff, and I obviously liked having you guys over. And we've wanted to have you guys over, before. Schedule's never really lined up. Plus, we've been like moving kind of what we've been doing. We've been Fridays, we've been Wednesdays, we've been Saturdays. So that stuff happens. And but I really appreciate you coming in and filling in, standing in, and
problem,
dropping by the shack, if you will. It's been a big help. You got a really good show. We got a lot of really good listener questions to get through. How many we get through them is going to depend, because we just kind of had I don't know if I call it a bombshell, because we've definitely been expecting something like this. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but we see it now. And I've seen it for all of 6 seconds, and I have lots of questions.
Same here.
So yeah, let's jump into the show. But before we do, we have to thank those that keep the ship afloat. All of our Patreon producers. So again, Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Devin, Kevin, Chris, Kyle, Joel, Professor Switch, Josh Borboni, the Bonesaw, Barry Cathcart, and Paul Calicote. These guys they support everything we do at PSVG at the producer level. Obviously, we thank all of our patrons, but these guys go above and beyond, and we really appreciate it. And they're the ones that make Shack Life have its own feed and Board with Video Games and PSVG Prime and everything. And we wouldn't be here without you. So we appreciate it greatly. Sorry, I'm a little flustered. I've got all this news. I'm still worried about our stream. Like when we started our stream, if you see me, I keep looking over here. I keep looking at it. I'm waiting to see, we're still green? We're still green. I haven't dropped any frames.
They'll let us know. Let us know in the chat.
Let me take a deep breath. I get because I'm always like producer, so I'm always the one doing the stream, doing all the setup and all this. So typically when we have issues like this, I can go quiet. Caro and Jason can keep talking while I work on things and start chatting. And anyway. We start every Nintendo Shack talking about what we've been playing. So if you allow me, I'd like to start. And I just because I'm going to be really quick. Played Travis Strikes Again, the DLC, which came out last week. You can play as Shinobu now. She plays just like Travis. She has her sword, which is nice. It's more like a katana, but you still have to recharge it for whatever reason.
You're pretty high on that game, right?
I'm a really big Suda fan, and I really like Travis Touchdown, and I like a lot of his games. So I wouldn't say I'm high on the game. I realize it's like a smaller-ish B-tier title, but I really enjoyed my playthrough. If you're not like a Suda 51 fan, I couldn't recommend it. So much of the narrative is Killer 7, Killer is dead, all of that stuff. I did like a 30-minute breakdown on Shack 6 weeks ago about everything about it. Yeah, because it's so much. It's basically like a Suda 51 love letter. It's everything he's ever done is Easter egged in the game. And if you have no idea, you're not going to understand. There's like a talking cat. You're like, what the hell is going on?
I have both the games on the Wii. I've been interested, but it's just like it is kind of steep and I know kind of what I would be getting myself into. So I'll try it out.
I think I got through in 10, 12 hours. Pretty quick playthrough. It's pretty simple gameplay. Pretty quick, easy to pick up and play. Multiple difficulty levels. Ultimately, what I want to say about the DLC pack is I went through the visual novel with Batman. I mean, it was okay. It had Easter eggs and things like that. It's just nobody should buy this DLC. If you're getting it with the game, if you bought it physically and you're getting it with the game, then sure, by all means, go mess with it. But Shinobu doesn't have her own levels. She doesn't have her own story. She doesn't have her own power ups. She's basically just a character model, like a character skin. Is it
$9.99 as well?
So you get the game for $24.99, I think, digitally.
Okay.
And then I bought the physical edition. If you allow me to show off, because this is. My lineage with Travis Strikes Again is basically a year long. At MomoCon last year, I got to interview and meet Suda 51. And having played a lot of his games, I was a big fan. So I had him sign my case that I was holding on to forever. This has been behind me. An empty case has been behind me for the better part of a year until this game came out and I could slide the artwork in it. So I've got history with the thing that makes me terrible judge. I'm like a terrible reviewer for you because I love the game and the characters, and
it's a cool series, man. I love it.
Great art style, like grungy punk stuff. It's very mature, that type of stuff. So if you're not into any of that, it's definitely not for you.
Yeah.
But the DLC is just, it's bad DLC. And I say that loving it the most I can. I just for folks out there like you, consumers that have no idea what's going on. It's a character skin and it's 10 pages of literally you have to read through cuss words and very minor character development. Only the Chorista fans would have any interest at all.
Yeah.
So that's it. Continuing on with this downtrodden week that I've been playing. I picked up Sports Party. Are you familiar
Is
with
that like
that?
a mini game compilation?
It's
type
like
thing?
it's Ubisoft's take on like Wii Sports, kind of.
Okay.
So this
How-
came out late last year. At like $40, I think, and I was like, "That's," and I think everybody was
Wow.
like, "That's insane. This game isn't worth more than $10." It was about what I paid for it. The only reason I picked it up is I got a GameStop. My birthday's next week, and I got a birthday coupon in the email, and I was like, well, I'll take my son to GameStop, and we'll look around, and we literally couldn't find anything. So we found this game, and it was used for like $19.99, and I had the birthday coupon, so I got it for $10, and I was like, I will
That's
bring
not
it
bad.
home and play it. It has golf, which is the reason why I got it, because I basically reviewed The Golf last week,
Yeah.
and The Golf is terrible. It's awful.
You gotta let me know though. Is there a golf game worth getting right now?
Golf Story.
I mean, besides Golf Story. No.
Not really.
Damn.
Sports Party is not bad. It's not The Golf. The Golf is the terriblest. Like, it's the worst game. Sports Party is what you think it is. It is a bare bones, bare minimum attempt at a Wii Sports. So if that like, has no interest to you at all, then you shouldn't pick it up. But if you're like in those families, that don't mind a casual pick up and play game, the golf mode is adequate. It's okay. It has motion controls. All you do is basically like swing, like you swing anyway. Like I was actually going to say this. I don't think the motion controls on Switch work that great. Like I've yet to see like any game with motion controls outside of just a gesture. It's not like Wii or Wii U. There's no like real good tracking. There's no like feedback at that level. It's all like very basic. If you throw the controller, it will do something on the screen.
Yeah. I would say arms, but that's just movement. That's not like precise pointing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
And
Captain
arms
Toad,
might be
like,
the
drifts
best
quite a
one,
bit.
but yeah, and you're
Yeah.
right. Basketball is kind of fun. If you like playgrounds, it's kind of the same. I posted these videos. They have beach tennis. It is basically the worst. Like, here's the funny thing. The game is actually somewhat pretty. Like, it's nice and colorful. It kind of reminds, there's a golf game on Xbox that it kind of reminds me of. It's like very similar. And then like, it's just like this grind where you like unlock hats and sunglasses for your beachy looking characters and whatnot. I don't know. $10, it's something to do. I just bought it because I was curious. The important part of my update, as I said I was going to be quick, and look at me, I'm spinning here, I'm like 6 minutes in. The important part of my update is that this week we restarted, because this week, this past week, I guess, the Switch turned 2. And we started Shaq Returns to Hyrule, which is what we've been talking about on the podcast for like maybe the last 12 episodes. This all stems, and we're going to have an entire podcast next week. The entire podcast is dedicated to this. But long story short, I watched every Marvel movie in order to get Devin, PlayStation Homer on our team, to buy a Switch and play Breath of the Wild. And now we're beginning. We've basically... I've been away from it long enough that I kind of forgot there's controls and stuff. And even though I still remember, and we'll dive long into this next week, it still feels new and different, kind of in a new way, which I'm looking forward to doing it. The fun part though was I told everybody, I was like, all right, I'm gonna boot it up and I'm just gonna like take a screenshot of the title for Twitter. And then I was like, I'm just gonna do a shrine, like one shrine. Because everybody's like, you got to wait because we've had this date. Our official date was like March 13th, I think. That was the date. And it's funny how people like are really behold. They're like, you said it was the 13th. I'm like, guys, the game's going to take you 3 months to beat. Who cares? But anyway, so I was like, I'm just going to do a shrine. And I started doing a shrine. I was like, I'm going to go get the double. And I played the game for like 20 hours this past week.
It's so good though, man.
It's
You can't
so good.
play for like an hour.
I kept playing, and I eventually like they saw me and they started seeing like they started seeing the hearts that I was posting in screenshots. They're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "All right, I'm gonna stop until the podcast." I was like, "But just know that like this is what you've done to me. You've unleashed me back into this world, and I'm having a lot of fun in a different way." So, all you Shackers out there listening, we return to Shack officially next week, and I think like half of PSVG is playing it with a slew of other people. We have a Discord tag dedicated to the event. We have a Discord room dedicated to the event. We've seen 5 or 6 new Discorders show up specifically for this. They're seeing our tweets. They're seeing our GIFs and our images. And they're like, I want to do this with friends. So that's what we're doing. And we've got people playing for the first time, people playing for the third time. We got folks playing from different stuff. We're taking questions and all that. So next week, Shaq returns to Hyrule. If you want to ask us Breath of the Wild questions, that will be the week to do it. I'm sorry for talking so long. Patrick, what have you been playing?
Oh man, I've been playing some baseball. Surprisingly, I thought I would never say that again. But yeah, RBI Baseball 19 is out on the Switch and other platforms. It is a minor improvement from last year. I feel like I'm the only one that's like rooting for this to be great
I have
again.
so many questions. You are not. There is a good 5 of us in the PSVG Discord that really like sports games, and we've all tried this on different consoles at different times. I own last year's on Switch. I owned the year before it on Xbox. Like, I've tried it because I think your biggest point is this is really our only avenue for licensed baseball. And the best baseball game that I've played since Power Pros on Wii is Super Mega Baseball. And Super Mega Baseball is amazing, but it doesn't have the license. And if you're a sports fan, that hurts. Like, they need the license. You need a license. So I've got lots of questions about MLB or RBI Baseball, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite so far. I mean, compared to 18 and 17 was really bad. But 18 improved a little bit. 19 visuals is the first thing that stuck out. But like I said, I made a review. I put a gameplay video up today, but the big thing is commentary. There's no commentary. And it's weird, too, because, like, RBI Baseball, they work directly with it. Like, it's produced, I'm pretty sure, by MLB Network. Yeah. And you have, like, a ton of commentators and stuff like that. So that's my biggest gripe. I mean, it's buggy, but it's also a $30 game. So, you know, it's to be a little bit expected.
Okay, my issue with RBI Baseball last year, and the reason why I didn't buy it this year and jump in, was RBI Baseball last year, I felt like it was kind of like a game of chance. I could hit the swing, and it like even got to the point where my timing felt really good. I could always hit it, but whether it was a home run or a single or double, I had no idea. It's just kind of like hit the ball and you see what happens.
I know what you mean.
And there was like some rubber banding, it felt like, you know, like you'd hit 2 home runs on an inning and you'd be up 5-1, and all of a sudden there's a 4-run inning, like the next inning, you know? So like it's almost like expected, which I did not like. But it's also not the experience I want the game to be. I want to have arcade baseball. I want to feel like Triple Play, like Power Pros. I want to be able to dominate my competition if I get good at the game. You know, it's a sports game. And this run really doesn't feel like it. Has that changed at all?
It's changed a little bit. I mean, you can kind of see if you hit the ball square on, like, chances are you're going to get a home run. I'm seeing a little bit of improvement with my play. But like you said, like, I've never – thought that I was going to dominate my opponent. It's always like, am I going to win? So
it kind of feels like a game of chance. Like, you really don't know.
Yeah. It's all team based. I mean, that's pretty true with any sports game, but like, I feel like I can't really lose with like the Red Sox or the Phillies or something like that. So I'm enjoying it so far, but I literally bought a PS4 last year for the show. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'll get the show, but yeah.
Anything else? I did enjoy your review, by the way. I watched the whole thing. I actually saw your commentary on the review, and actually we talk about that too, because I was going to write you back, and I was like, you know what, he's coming on the show. We'll just save it for the pod. Yeah. So you posted a review about a sports game that got a lot of coverage or got a lot of attention, and you were like, maybe I should do more reviews. We used to do reviews, tons of them actually. We did. I don't know. Kevin knows this number off the top of his head. I think we did like 200 reviews in a year or something like that. We did a ton of reviews. We used to have a database and everything. We did them all the time. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And when everybody does it, like it's hard to get what you just got. So anyway, the commentary that I was going to tell you is if you really like doing it, I think you should. We stopped because I think we realized our bread and butter for our own psyche, like our own, self-fulfillment was podcasting. That's what we do. We do audio. And so we kind of like leaned into that. So we started new shows and like the whole network and all that. But I think one of the points I wanted to tell you is I think what you saw is just how popular sports games are. And that's something that like video gamers, if you listen to the IGNs and the Game Spots and things like that, they kind of take funny jabs at sports games. And Coach Mo on our network has brought it up for years, how well FIFA sells, how well Madden sells. The show has its own franchise. Like, there are people that buy PS4s for the show. Sports are popular, hugely popular. And I think people are craving that, especially on Switch.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about reviews, though, that it kind of sucks, but you have to either put out your review before the game launches or the launch day. If it's like any later than that, you're going to be lost in the search. Like, I think if you type in like RBI baseball review, I'm the first one, and was the first one until a bigger guy comes and does it. But
it was hard to find, and that was another thing about that series is they seem to not like lean into press reviews or coverage at all. Like they go radio silent. Yeah, and you just got to buy the game and find out. You got to wait for somebody to do it. I didn't buy last year's until it went on sale, to be quite honest. And from the reviews that I have found, I personally don't feel like this year has much to offer me that last year's didn't.
I wouldn't run out and get it, but there's still big updates. Like the first day, there was like over 2 gigs of updates, which for the Switch, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so let's move it along. Let's get into the news block. I've got a few bullet points that we could run through fast before we drop the bombshell. My first one, to be a respected podcaster, I have to at least eat a little crow on this. Slow down on the Game Pass and xCloud to Switch talk, says Brad Sams from Thurrott.com. He's a Windows insider. He says that he can confirm that Microsoft and Nintendo are working on some things. It was like kind of heavily hinting that Microsoft's going to publish some games. So like, it seems like the Ori rumor is true. Like it seems like that's still coming. But the Game Pass and the xCloud may not be. So a lot of people are hitting me. I'm not sure if you listen to us every week, but I've been talking about this on our Xbox show and our Nintendo show because I'm a huge Game Pass fan. And a lot of people are like, see, Donnie, this is why you shouldn't do rumors. So here's what I want to tell you. I love the rumor mongering. I love imagining and fantasizing about all the things that could be and whatnot, and it's a big reason why I do what I do. So, I'm going to keep doing it. So if you don't like the rumor mill, Shaq might not be the podcast for you.
As long as we're closer to getting Cuphead, because I let it go. I had an Xbox, got rid of my Xbox, and then Cuphead came out, and I was like, damn.
I think it's happening. And I said this in our Discord, I still think it's going to happen. This report aside, it may not happen now. It may not happen next year, but I definitely think this is the trend that the industry will go in. I think Microsoft, because of their power of software and systems, will be the at least the trendsetter, the initial push. And I think it makes a lot of sense for Microsoft to partner with them. I think before the Switch ends, you will see Game Pass or Microsoft streaming on it. That's a prediction I'm happy to stand behind. That can be my what did Colin Moriarty say that like I still like remember from? He said something like the Vita was going to kill the 3DS, and he's had to live with that for like 6 years. So that'll be mine. You can tell me 6 years from now how wrong I was. I'd be happy to, but
how's that Game Pass, Donnie?
I want to believe. So I'm still going to keep believing. Kid Icarus and Star Tropics are heading to Nintendo Switch Online March 13th. Are these games doing anything for you?
Not really. The fact that we're not getting 3 anymore is kind of the thing I'm mad about. But
wake me up when other consoles come.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Night Drive Studios is bringing Turok to Nintendo Switch. It's coming for $20. It drops March 18th. I have this here. My bullet point was, does that mean we're going to see System Shock, Turok 2, or Forsaken come? That was my question to you, but it's already been answered. They already said that Turok 2 is
Yep. I'm pumped for that. It's kind of steep price wise, but
it is, because they have remastered it, but it's not like a modern game. What they've done is they've taken the old geometry and they've just like up-resed it all, so it looks super crisp and clear, and the draw distance is like infinite, but it's still like a 64 game. I think we've been conditioned to pay what $7.99 for those for the last 10 years.
Yeah, $7.99, $9.99, something like that.
So I'm gonna put Turok 2 on my wish list and wait for a sale. But I'm definitely gonna get Turok 2. I gotta cerebral bore somebody and type in some cheat codes and shoot some folks. I was saying on Discord, even if it's just to like, nostalgically walk around for an hour, I think it's still worth it. I'll do it for that. Trine 4 was announced for Switch. It comes out this fall. We've been talking about the Trine collection. I beat Trine 2 with a friend. It's a really good co-op game if you can play with friends. That's cool. It looks really good. It's really pretty. Tetris 99 is dropping the Maximus Cup event on March 8th, where you can play, and whoever gets the most first place votes, the top 999 of them. So if you win, whoever gets the most Battle Royales, Tetris 99, top 999 get 999 gold coins. So they give you $10.
What time are we living in right now?
That's
like,
cool.
What is this?
That's really neat.
I like it. I like it.
That's
Tetris
really
is
neat.
awesome.
And it's free. So you can play for free. And if you're really good at it, you can go actually earn some money. Could you imagine that? You got this free game and then they gave you $10 for playing it. That's a whole new, there's a question that we can talk about that here in a minute. All right. So the reason I've been dominating and reading these headlines all fast is I'm trying to make time at the end of the show to talk about this. 5 minutes before we started, this news dropped, and Caroline, who's in our chat and lovely, jumped into my notes and started typing notes for me. Nintendo just announced Nintendo Labo Toy-Con Kit 4 VR. We've been talking about this. We talked about this, I want to say 3 episodes ago, when I said something like, we all know that a VR cardboard thing is coming, and we talked about whether or not we thought it would be or not. So we've seen it. They have it up right now. There's a starter set and a blaster, and then there's like 2 expansion sets. Patrick, what do you think?
I don't know if I'm still speechless. This is crazy because like very early on when the Switch came out, there was this Photoshop thing where it was like a VR headset and everyone was kind of speculating, and then we kind of stopped. What we're seeing now, I mean, you can see it on the Nintendo website. It's kind of crazy, man. There's what, like 4 SKUs going on here?
Yes, I've got some thoughts, but I don't want to dominate this entire conversation and try to get us here. So we've got the starter kit, which you get the goggles, and this very like Google Cardboard-esque thing. You get the Toy-Con blaster, which is this gun-like thing. The next set comes with a Toy-Con camera and an elephant, which is like a kaleidoscope with like this trunk-like extension. And then the Toy-Con bird and wind pedal come in another set. So this is like 3 Labo sets that you could buy together, or you can buy them individually. Caroline did update our notes with the price. Thank you, Caro. The full set includes software goggles and all 5 designs, comes at $80. But you can buy the starter kit for $40. That includes the goggles and one of the designs and the blaster. So it's a smaller price. So it was one of the things that I was going to say is all of the designs are much smaller in scale than the things we've seen with the vehicle and the other thing. So
yeah. I got to say, I'm pretty interested, man, especially the blaster and stuff like that. What I'm seeing now, though, I got to stop thinking this, but like Pokemon Snap with the camera. I know this is going to be like a generic-y Labo software. And that's, I think, the thing that's true. We could get a Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon did say they're working on other things. Could be a cheap little Labo edition. Could be a cheap edition. It may not be the grand world, but maybe it's like think of like a Pokemon Rumble art style that you can view in a viewfinder type thing. I mean, I don't think it's crazy.
That's the thing, though. It's like I think the main thing that's held Labo back is the software end of it, because it's fun to make. It's fun to like show people and stuff like that, but like there's no substance. At least that's what I'm taking away. I don't have Labo, but from what I've seen, it's very like, okay, our 15 minutes is over type of thing. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, it's probably going to be some kind of a Safari-esque Pokemon Snap thing. That's kind of what I can look at. The blaster could be anything. Yeah, this is going to be cool. I'm excited for the trailer on this and to see like some reactions, because
the very first thing I thought of was that 3DS little thing where they tried to like let you go to like the Louvre and like the museums and see different things. They had like that Google Maps thing on Wii U.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Like they did that for like 6 months and they took it down. They're like, no, don't worry about it. I'm wondering if like this is like if we see that come back, if they they try to represent it as something new. With this being VR based and like with all these different designs, I want to know if this is something that they'll kind of continue to support. Like, do they have like these small VR like experiences, like a PS4 VR, where they've got a ton of these like little free demos where you can put on your helmet and see a beach or something like that? I mean, I think what we talked about when we were talking about this idea, what we said was, no matter what they do on the cardboard side, like this is not going to be VR. You cannot slap a tablet in front of your eyes and it be VR.
Yeah.
What it's going to be is kind of the illusion of VR. And if they can make it fun, I would like, I think actually the example I use is I would totally walk around like Peach's Castle in Mario 64. Same graphics and everything.
Oh my God.
But I would totally do that. I would do that in a heartbeat.
That would be cool. I'm kind of curious to see if maybe we get some kind of functionality with like Doom or Skyrim. I know that they have VR versions. So maybe.
I doubt
But
it.
it's kind of cool to see the camera and the bird in here. Like those were showed off in some previous trailers for Labo. So
Yep.
I'm curious. Price isn't too bad either.
No, and that's a good like experimental, try it out, curiosity entry price. $40 just to mess around with it. Even if only you get out of it as a weekend, it might be worth $40. Which is kind of like the experience that I've had with Labo to date so far. The Labo that we've got a bunch of it actually. Mess around with it for a day or two, like per game, and we really don't ever go back to it. So if we can get something like that out of this, if we can play VR for a week, that's what I was thinking. Ongoing support, like maybe they drop like $2 little episodes of something, throughout the year would be really neat.
Yeah.
That'd be new for Labo, and I think might give Labo some legs. So the first point that I got when I looked at this box art, the first thing that I took notice of, and it's actually goes back to Caroline's point with this, is she thought the Switch tablet was too heavy for something like this. And I wanted to point out that in all of the artwork that's being shown, everyone is holding the VR with their hands.
That's true.
Yeah, this is very much like a kaleidoscope thing that you're holding and looking into, like a viewfinder. This isn't like a helmet that rests on your head. So I don't know how much you'll be able to do, if anything at all, with your hands, with Joy-Cons or anything like that. So for anybody that hasn't seen this yet, don't think of it like PSVR. That's not that. Think of it like, you're holding a viewfinder or something like Virtual Boy and like you're looking into it and you're holding it. Maybe you can move or whatnot, but every picture on all of the marketing has them actually holding it. So
that's true.
Yeah. Very interesting. Ooh, Caroline says, bring back Virtual Boy Wario Land. No, don't do that. But
I gotta ask you, Donnie, is this kind of the last ditch effort, or you think Labo is going to be supported some more? This is pretty bold, man.
So I think Labo, it has cool appeal in terms of PR. They've gotten a lot of like good marketing from like CNET and NBC and whatnot. And I think the overhead to have an engineer sit down and design cardboard kits has got to be so low that even at disappointing sales, it's probably worth it. It's not like they're sending off molds, and having factories come pitch them like 3D printing designs that cost them an arm and a leg. They literally have people sitting around like folding cardboard. It's like, what'd be really cool? If we made a piano. Like, how do we, it's so in that regard, I think as like an initiative, I don't necessarily think it's not worth doing. Like if I was looking at it like as a president or a CEO, and I think the PR, because I think we still see it like on Business Wire and their press releases, they still do these like, California schools, third graders adopting Labo curriculum. They still have these types of things. And I think that's good because it makes them the family friendly console. But
now, is there a date on these? Is there?
Yes, the date is April 12th. I want to say yes, April 12th.
Oh wow!
So it's just a few weeks out. So you go out there and pre-order it. And I mean, for those of us that still have access, the Best Buy rewards on $40 is like $32. You save $8 if you still get the, the little discounts. And I'm sure, like last year, instead of buying them all new, I waited until Black Friday, and I got them buy one get one. So I bought my kid, I bought my son the vehicle set, and I bought my daughter the other one. I forget what it was, but the other one. And so we got them both for $80. So and that's another cool. That's another good thing is they're good stocking stuffers, like small things that you can kind of throw together.
I'm interested, man. This might be the Labo kit to do it.
They're just not for. I still don't think they're for like.
They're not for video
gamers. Yeah, they're not for video gamers. They're not for like 28-year-old gamer. Like that's not what this is for. All of the pictures show like these little kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The blaster one looks cool. I'm thinking like light gun type of thing.
Could we have like a Wii, like a Nintendo Land?
Because if you look at the,
I'd be amazed for like a Nintendo Land VR thing. That was the idea that I pitched actually when we were talking about this. I said, give me the Metroid Blast game, give me the that Link game with the sword and the motion controls. Give me that with a little Google Cardboard, and I'd be totally down for that.
Because I'm trying to look at the blaster box. Is that the IR sensor that's pointing out of the cannon? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
This is.
I can't tell from the little icon that I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it should be. I think what they're probably doing is you've probably got your Joy-Cons on the Switch, and based on like the gyro where you're aiming the gun is probably what's going on screen. I don't know. But the blaster seems like it would have most video game appeal.
Yeah.
Than the camera. I don't know what they're going to do with a wind pedal and the bird. I don't know what that does.
I'm not too crazy about that, but
Ubisoft had that VR bird game that they showed, which basically became in Odysseys like the bird mechanic of opening your map. Maybe they could do something with that tech. I don't know.
it's probably gonna be like a flying simulator. I don't know. That's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will be interesting. I'm kind of on board with this. I don't have VR, and VR is kind of a steep price. So I think that kind of has something going for it.
I think there is some appeal there too. I definitely think there's a curiosity appeal with something like this because you're cheap. You're just cheap enough that, my in-laws, for example, they bought that like crappy VR stuff from like Walgreens that like you put your cell phone in. They bought one for everybody. Like everybody in the family. They were like, everybody got stocking stuffers of those this past year. I'm not saying everybody's going to go do that, but you got to think somebody's walking through a toy store and they're like, oh, that Switch? My nephew's got that Switch thing. Let's get in this VR box. That looks cool. It's got a gun in it. There's definitely some appeal there with that too. I have to think. Maybe not
That's
big.
wild.
I think, I guess to wrap this up in a bow, I think this probably has more appeal than anything Labo has done thus far.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say probably the car is probably the thing that sticks out to me. I mean, especially with the Mario Kart and building the tracks and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely this.
I just think
I'm interested.
it just being VR related, like VR is like a catchy buzz term, that's the industry. VR, like that's the next thing. Google Glass and HoloLens and VR, and like now Nintendo's gonna be like, yeah, we've got cardboard VR.
It's kind of weird because Nintendo usually makes the gimmick. They're not usually chasing the gimmick. So
that was actually what I brought up with my when I bought PlayStation VR this past year. Is actually the thing is I commend them greatly for it being innovative. And that is very much like a Nintendo thing. Like typically Nintendo is the one jumping into something, but I think the cost of the unit and everything, Nintendo could never sell anything like that. But PlayStation VR is pretty cool. Like that Moss game is really neat. But ultimately, like there's just not enough games on the horizon. I thought it was worth the investment, and I moved on from it. But this is very cool, man. Just a few weeks away. So we got, because I said last week I felt like there was going to be a lull here because we get Yoshi in a few weeks. And then we get nothing until Box Boy. And well, now we use something. So now you get Yoshi in a few weeks, and then VR, and then Box Boy, and then May comes, and there's a ton of stuff. Like every port of every game comes out in May. It's like play Saints Row 3rd again until E3, and when hopefully the first party stuff starts to hit. It's exciting.
Have you heard of Xenon Racer? Are you a racing fan at all?
I do like racing games, but I have not heard of that one.
Yeah, Xenon Racer this month, the 26th. It looks like the most impressive racing game so far. It's like futuristic-y, arcadey.
It's like Tron.
Definitely check it out. Yeah, I think it's kind of steep though. I mean, they're treating it like a big game. It's like $50, I think.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, it does look good. I don't know sure what the screenshots I'm looking at are on Switch or whatnot, but it looks good. I give it that. It does look good. It's got a nice visual appeal. Okay. So, anyway. That was kind of our news that I packed up. So we got through that pretty quick, which is good because we've got some questions this week. So I posted in our Discord. I was like, look, it's a slow news week because we didn't know this was going to come out. I was like, we could really use the questions to be a short show. And I got some really good ones I think we can chew on for a minute. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you answer the first one. And as I look at it, I want to say James sent this to me, but I didn't write down who sent it to me. Now I feel bad. How do you feel about the rise of free-to-play gaming on consoles? Do you think Nintendo will have to change their business model to continue to compete against games that people can play for free?
So I'm trying to think if Nintendo has... Well, Pokemon Quest, I guess, was their free-to-play.
Mm-hmm. And then all the
I like
stuff.
I like the trend. I feel like it's almost a way for the developers to kind of get away with a lackluster game, but like not have the critical aspect of it. I mean, of course, like Fortnite's popular, Tetris 99. It's kind of refreshing to just play a game with people and have it, no charge behind it. I mean, price. If a game looks good, price really isn't, I'm not too hung up on price, but it's a cool trend. I mean, especially if they keep supporting it like a game like Fortnite or Tetris or something like that. So I'm for it.
It is an interesting
Especially
question because we do have like the Fortnite, which is the huge game. It's like taking over the world. And then Apex just brought on like 50 million people in 2 weeks. And if you play Apex, like Apex is very much like a finished product, at least from its single mode. I do get what you're saying. I like to take a separate spin on it. I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what PSVG Prime talked about last week with like free-to-play games. And really their things was like microtransactions. But I'm going to take a different spin on this. I do think there might be some pressure on companies to adapt to this model. Not so much because they can't compete with free games, but I think... So last week on PSVG Prime, they talked about how Amy Hennig was saying that like Uncharted 1 can never be made now. Like the idea of you spending 3 years to make an 8-hour single-player campaign game is not what gaming is into now. Like that's not what investors want. They want long tails. They want service, DLC, constant microtransactions. Like they want to reap more money out of it than the initial purchase. So when I say that to back up my point, you definitely have to think that somebody at Nintendo is looking at that model and going, we should be doing more of that. Why are we spending 8 years to make a Zelda game? I'm just saying that as an example. I'm not saying that as like anything. I'm just saying that as an example of my point. Why are we spending 8 years making a Zelda game when we could spend 2 years of making like a Zelda multiplayer game and sell it to people for 8 years? That type of thing. Now, I said that knowing that this week in the news, there's reports, and I'm not sure how true it was, because to be honest with you, I don't play mobile games, so I don't care to really research it a whole lot. But I saw the headlines on Twitter whatnot saying that Nintendo's been asking their mobile developers to tone back their microtransactions. Like, hey, quit being so, aggressive with trying to get people nickel and diming people. And I do think Nintendo is I think Mario Run may have proved a lesson to them, so I think there's something there. I'm not blaming Nintendo, and I'm not even really speaking for Nintendo. I'm speaking on behalf of all developers. Like you've got to think, because they're all beholden to investors. And the problem with being beholden to investors is that making profit is no longer good enough. You have to make more profit than you did last time. And it's always all about that. You could make more money than you've ever made, and then if you're below that $10 next year, everybody wants to know what happened. Like, what happened? And I think at some point that hurts you. And I don't know. I definitely think, without sounding too alarmist, I definitely think like there's going to be like some sort of course correction in this. Because you got to think like a lot of big developers are probably going to start chasing this. We already see it. I don't even say start. We already see it. Ubisoft has been doing this with games. Respawn, Apex is doing it. Call of Duty's doing it. Like everybody's already doing this. Eventually, the well's going to run dry, and we're going to start losing people because they made these bets. And then what happens?
I mean, one game that comes to mind, actually, that now that you say things like that, Morphe's Law. Like, imagine if that was free to play rather than coming out for like $20 and getting blasted, man. That game just lived and died like a week. If that would have came out free and just kept supporting it, I think people would still be playing it, to be honest.
Somebody would. And it's not that I have anything against free to play. Actually, I really like it. My son has his best friend lives across the street. They just moved into the house. They have video games, but their dad's not like me. He's not spending like his extra money on video games. So they have like some video games, but they don't have like the latest and greatest. Most of the time, I think they told me, they get like a game or two for Christmas. That's what they get. So Apex drops, and all of a sudden they could play Apex with Jack instantly, like the day it came out. That's all they've played for like a month. That's all my son wants to do. He just wants to play Apex because that's what his friends play. So that's a great thing. Definitely. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's amazing. You're getting people that don't have access to games. That's a wonderful thing that should be celebrated. I'm just saying that celebration comes at a cost. And the cost might be people like me that really love long single-player focused games. Like 20 years from now, there might not be any of those. And if they are, they might be all like the indie level. Like there might just be like a company that's like, we're going to make those games you used to love. Basically, like right now with like Metroidvanias, You know, like
Yeah.
8-hour solo campaign games might be the Metroidvania of like 2030. You know, it's like a little indie game with like little indie graphics. You're like, you remember those games you used to live? Remember Uncharted? The games you grew up playing? We make those. Remember Mario?
I know.
You know,
It's like, yeah, I definitely think it affects multiplayer games more because, like, are you going to invest all this money to put out a $60? Like, would Titanfall exist in today's, like, I don't think it would.
and I think that's what like Apex is a response to, is that it didn't. So they maneuvered, and it's like, to bring it back into the Nintendo space. Why make a Mario game when you can make Mario Maker?
Yeah.
Why
That's
make
true.
a single player Mario game? Why would you do that? I would say it's because you're great at level design, but that's not to say the other people aren't. Like, you could sell just as much by selling like little packs of levels that you buy and then letting people access the builder and then having online and tournaments. There's like a whole, if you look at how Nintendo could service a game, like treat a game, because I don't think this is necessarily a free to play thing. I think he's lopping free to play with like just, or at least I am, at least I'll put that on me, lopping free to play games in with like these service based games, like, because they're not necessarily fighting for your initial purchase. They're fighting for like purchases over a year, over 3 years. Like, they want your time. They don't want you to play other games. They just want you playing their game all the time. You know, you think about like Destiny and all that, like they just want you playing their game. And I think there is that comes at a cost. Like, somebody's just going to get caught holding you back. Somebody's not going to fit in that model. Somebody gets left out. I don't think there's like room for everyone in that model. You know, think about like all the battle royales. You've got like Warframe, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Apex, Battlefront's about to do something. Like, what if Splatoon did something, right? You take all of those and you do it for 3 years, somebody's not going to be left standing. Like, there's not enough gamers to support those, you know, if that's all they want you to play. So
I think we just discovered the root of all backlog problems right there. It's just too many free, easy games to get into.
Too many infinite games, and you can't finish them anymore. You just have to quit. You know, you just have to kick it like a bad habit and then go pick up another habit. Like, you can't just beat it and move on anymore. I think, yeah, you're definitely right there. Good question. I want to say, James, I'm going to give it to James. I think James sent it to me. If I got it wrong, correct me and I'll address it next week. I apologize, but I think James sent it to me. Kyle actually sent us the next one. And we've had it on the list for a long time now. If Nintendo could acquire the rights to an exclusive Harry Potter game or an exclusive Star Wars game that they would have to develop internally, which should it be?
So should they acquire a Star Wars or a Harry Potter game?
So I think the idea is like, there's an exclusive Harry Potter. I think this came out like when the Harry Potter game leaked. There's an exclusive Harry Potter game that they can just like buy. Like, it's there, you buy it. Or you can get the Star Wars license, but you've got to make it. And to give you, to give you a little inside baseball, because Kyle and I have argued this a bunch. I think this question comes at like the guys that Kyle he fights for his stance, his opinion. I want to do him justice here. His opinion is that it's really hard to make a Star Wars game and appease the fans. That like, it's like this finicky license that you can't, like, it's almost like it's a curse. It's a curse to even have. So what under that inside baseball, what do you think?
I think we deserve a Star Wars game, man. The Battlefront games have just brought it a bad name, especially with like EA and stuff like that. Bring back the Darth Maul game. Whatever happened to that? But no, I think Nintendo and Star Wars, they could definitely make it happen. I think for just relevancy purposes, though, I would choose Star Wars. I mean, Harry Potter, though, it's still big somehow. Like, I don't get that. But yeah, I'd pick Star Wars.
I want to pick Harry Potter just to not like, just to be different from you. But I've never watched or read Harry Potter. I can't, like, I'm the worst person to be on the opposite end of this question because I can't give you the other side. And I'm not going to do that franchise a disservice by even acting like it. I'll tell you this, the new Fire Emblem looks Harry Potter-ish and it's turning me off. Like, I'm like, oh no.
It does, with the houses and stuff.
I'm not digging it. Like, they're all doing magic school and everything. I was like, oh, this is dumb. So we'll see. But since I laid out Kyle's opinion, I'll just lay out my counter to his opinion. Is that I think it's nonsense. Star Wars sells everything. Like, you slap Star Wars on anything and it sells. I swear to you, if they made a Star Wars car, like, it would sell. Like, whatever they do, it sells. So I think Star Wars sells if you just make a decent product. You don't have to make a good product. I think Nintendo could make a 2D lightsaber action game. It could be Travis Strikes Again with a Jedi instead of Travis, and the damn thing would sell. People would buy it, and you can't tell me that they wouldn't. Like, they totally would. Kyle's in the chat. Look at this. This is good timing. So he says he wants a Harry Potter game. So yeah. Maybe he'll like that new Fire Emblem game. I will say this.
I went for pod racing. Pod racing was the thing I thought of.
Ooh, pod racing. And that's the other thing I've said for the longest time. Like, so EA has the license. Why don't they just make the starfighting game? Why did I just Rogue Squadron? Just make that.
Squadron, yep.
Just make that. How hard is a template is that to make? They actually have it in Battlefront. They have the starfighting games. It's like the best part of the games. Just make that. Just do that. Rogue Squadron, do missions, you fly in the air, make Starlink, and put a TIE fighter in it. Boom. You've just sold 1 million games. Like, it's so easy. It's so easy. They just, I don't know. I don't know. I do understand his point, because his point's like, people don't like Battlefront. People don't like Unleashed. You know, like, it does seem like there's been like this long miss. Microsoft had like the Kinect game. You know, I do understand. I do get that. But like, man, just make Rogue Squadron. The new Harry Potter game looks cool, though. If you're into Harry Potter, the new one looks
just
pretty
make
dope.
sure it's free to play. Just make sure it's free to play.
Yeah, that would help. That would help, right? Why if they just had Apex, but with just Jedi shooting each other, everybody would play that like tomorrow. If they just dropped it, yeah. Another good question we can chew on for a minute. This comes from James. I don't know. I don't remember who wrote me that first question. I feel bad. So James asked, where does Smash go from here? I haven't played since Christmas, and even though I know we'll get some new characters, is that it for the next 5 to 7 years? How do they ever do anything more than Ultimate? That's a deep question.
Wow, that is a loaded question.
Isn't it?
I feel like you have to go in the opposite direction almost. You kind of have to strip it back and make like a Smash Bros. All-Stars, although I hate that name. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you have to do like the best of and just have like a tournament style. But you can't keep adding characters. After a while, it loses the effect. It actually does the opposite of what you're trying to do.
When you pull
it's
a Piranha Plant, you're telling me it doesn't ring as deep as...
You can use Goombas now. No, it's just bad.
What's next? Just block.
Oh man. But maybe I think it's honestly going to take a big break. But then again, it's like such a big selling franchise. Like, you can't ignore it for too long. Yeah, I think you have to scale it back and almost go like with nothing, bare bones, just like the best of the best.
Do you think they could actually do that in today's world? No. There's no
nope.
way. Do you imagine they're like, the next Smash game has 8 people, $60? Like, that would never fly. That would never fly ever.
They shot themselves in the foot with this Ultimate model.
All right, so I have a really dumb idea, but it is an idea, so I'll ask it. Could they like specifically franchise Smash? Could they go like Zelda Smash, Mario Smash, Animal Crossing Smash? Could they like branch off and like do weird things, or like do Smash and then like have packs of? I don't know. If there's a game that's like meant to be a service game from Nintendo, Smash is it. They shouldn't sell you Smash. They should sell you access to Smash, and Smash Ultimate should just be Smash indefinitely, forever. And like Minecraft, they give you new packs of like graphic updates and 4K updates, and like that should just be it. Kyle in the chat says make it a 3D fighter. Yeah, I think they tried doing that with Pokken.
I liked that. I kind of didn't like when Pokken went 2D. I kind of liked the 3D, but I wouldn't want to be that guy who has to come up with the next idea. I feel like they either go similar and just get rid of half the roster and put in a new roster.
If they made it 3D, that would at least give them an excuse for doing something like that. It's not it's not the worst idea. I would immediately lose it. Like, I think once you go 3D, it's no longer Smash.
No. Yeah.
It's not Smash anymore. You can call it Smash, but it's not Smash. Like, the thing that makes Smash is it's 2D, it's got 2 buttons and a D-pad. Like, that's the thing. So,
yeah.
I mean, you could effectively play Smash on NES if you wanted to. Like, you could do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly, that's stumped. Maybe they just add in a new gimmick where it's just like a tag team type thing. I mean, I know they have that
Smash.
3-on-3.
16-bit. I wouldn't mind like Team Smash, like a Marvel Capcom type thing. That's not terrible. Kind of like what DBZ Fighters is doing.
Yep.
It is interesting. I love
Bring back the level editor.
That's a good one. I do love the idea that is that it for the next 5 to 7 years. Do you think you'll see another Smash before 2025?
I will say no for the reason that they just took out Melee from Evo. I feel like they're pushing this to be like
This is it.
a Melee. Yeah. So I think they're just going to keep adding to it, which is scary because we're at what, like 75 characters?
Yeah, and you wonder what the license is like, the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever, like if they can do it again. I mean, I thought that they couldn't, and they did, so maybe they always can. You can always write a check.
Yep.
You can always write a check and do whatever you want. And there'll always be characters, like even characters that aren't, like they could always, if they really wanted to, I think Nintendo fans are going to cringe, they could just start putting characters in that have nothing to do with Nintendo. There's a whole world of video games they can do that. It doesn't have to be so Nintendo focused.
Yeah. And even on the Nintendo scape, like putting in a Piranha Plant, like everyone loves him. They could do anything. Monty Mole, they have so many characters in that whole universe. Zelda universe, I think, is underappreciated in there.
I think the next Smash will just be this pretty. Let it be like Smash Ultimate 4K. And
or
like
the top 100 or something.
3 new characters. I mean, you know what? Honestly, the only thing that you can really do with Smash, again, to make it new and sell, put a campaign back in it. You can always do that.
Yeah.
You can always do that. Give me a 6-hour campaign with the roster. Like modes. Do modes. ARMS had like those stupid basketball modes and things like that. Like they could get real dumb with that.
Yeah, the whole like creative fighter hasn't been done yet. Level editor.
Yeah.
So
like a real creative fighter, not a me thing, but like give you every asset. Imagine if every time you unlocked a character, if you unlocked like something, if it was like a loot grind, like instead of unlocking a character, you had all the characters, but every time you beat a character, like you got their tunic or their armor or their sword or their hair, and then you could use all that stuff to create your own character. There's something there. Would be cool. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Caroline says, give me actual descriptions for her spirits. Caroline, you're the only person with the spirit stuff. No, nobody cares. I like the spirits. I think the spirits are cool. I think the execution of the game are just like not important. I put it that way.
Yeah.
It's something to do. You can do it. You can play it and do it. But I think like a true adventure mode like would really go a long way. I was really hoping that was going to happen this time.
Yeah. I haven't really been hooked yet with Smash. Maybe it'll come. New characters.
I got to admit, James, I really haven't played it either, but I'm not the Smash fan, and I've always said that. So I don't think that's like new for me. I know Jason's still playing it. I really just Tom Serva is still playing it. So, but my son is also not playing it either, and he is a Smash guy. My son was way on Smash for like 3 years. He played Smash Wii U, and he's just not necessarily interested in Ultimate. So he's playing Apex. Kids grow up to move on to other things. So I think I understand what he's saying. I do think I will start like Splatoon. I'll play when they drop Joker for sure. And if the new character is good, I'll always kind of hop back in every now and again to play with the new characters and see what's going on. But, unless they could add a mode, I would love a sports mode or a goofy mode or a dumb mode. Like if they could just add a new mode, a new way to play Smash. Maybe it wasn't like so fighter based or something. Or if they had to multiplayer events like co-op boss battles or something. Like if they did stuff like that, I would play.
Because Smash is fun. It's just like we need something in between or something to do.
Well, I think the Smash, and I want to say this without alienating everybody that listens to this Nintendo focused show. The reason that I have never been the Smash guy, in terms of like it being my favorite, franchise in the Nintendo stable, is that for the longest time, Smash is just Smash. It really hasn't changed. It's just Smash.
Yeah.
It's like the same, and I know that they're all different, right? So you've got like the down kicks and different things and Subspace Emissary and stuff like that. They all have like their own little gimmicks, but largely the game is the same thing. It's been the same thing for like 20 years. So, and that's no different than like, say, 2D Mario, and like there's a lot of games in Nintendo's wheelhouse to do that, but I think the new art style, the new stuff, like it all makes it different, whereas Smash largely kind of looks and feels the same. It's like the same thing.
I agree.
Now, like if that was it, the platformer stuff that you could do on 3DS, I would be even open to that. I would Like that wasn't my favorite, but having played Spirits, I'm like, boy, I would play that. I wish I would go back to that right now. I would, because that's fun. That's something to do. Like turn it into a little 2D game that you can play with all of your characters.
Were you a trophy guy?
I got a lot of them on Wii U just because I played it a lot, but no, not really. I've never been like kind of a. I'm a big Pokemon fan. Never collect all of them either. Like I've never been the collect them all type.
Yeah,
I did unlock all the characters. I did do that. So
yeah, I did like the trophies. I also like the little like the NES games that you can play. I know that they're obviously getting those out because like Virtual Console, which we don't have. But
but think about like, wouldn't it be cool like if they took and I'm literally spitballing off the head, James, with this idea. What if they took like an NES remix take and put it in Smash? Or like maybe not only could you create levels and edit characters, but maybe then you could like palette swap them. Like that would be new. Or like they did side-scrolling or platformer like little adventure things. Or if you could play a level of Mario as Joker or play a level of Mario as Inkling, like you could take that idea that they did on 3DS and put it into Smash and open it up to this bigger character roster and like just tell it again, play something new with Smash, do something new with Smash, anything like that I think would be cool. Nintendo has a billion ways of Nintendoing these types of things. How they can make a Smash like Match 3 game. People would play it.
Yeah, because like you have all these characters and the only thing you can do is fight. And some people might think that's stupid, but like you have all these licenses and they're great characters too, man.
What if it was like a little like I had the thought in my head like the little board game that you could do with like Animal Crossing. Like what if they put in a little board thing where you could like, I don't know, to make all the Mario Party fans cringe, like put 4 characters in a car, and then instead of doing like the mini games, like you incorporate like a battle into it. And you think about like some of the battles you used to do where you had to like climb the stage as like as the platforms are falling and stuff, and you race to the top. You're like, if you've ever played Rumbo, take a Rumbo approach and just drop a little Rumbo mode into Smash. Actually, I love that idea most. Have you played Rumbo?
Rumbo's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
Do Rumbo in Smash. Just do that.
That's very Smash-like too, because like the movements of that very Smash-like.
And you already have like your fighting mechanics. Just create a side-scrolling stage from left to right, and some platforms, and make them disappear, or a boss swoop through, or whatever gimmick you got to do to explain what's going on, and do that. Yeah, that would at least give like people that aren't like great, amazing Smash players something to do. I think I actually said that before it came out. I think there needs like, it's missing just like a minor casual element.
Yep.
I think that's the thing, is they've went so hard in the core fan experience that like there's just not a whole lot there for like the casual Nintendo fan. And the Nintendo fan that picks up Kart, and the Nintendo fan that picks up Wii Sports and picks up the Mario game, like what is there for them to do in Smash besides get the crap kicked out of them online?
Yeah. And that's why I say like this game's going to be around for a while, because when they were revealing the game, it was like they spent 30 minutes on like minor movements that they've updated and stuff like that. This is definitely for the competitive scene.
Yep.
So I don't think we're going to see another Smash for a while.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And ultimately, I don't think we're going to see anything change with Smash. I think we'll see this Smash. I think we'll see a prettier version of this Smash released on the next thing. Like it might be 10 years before we see new Smash, like anything like really new, so
yeah.
Anyway, that's a really good question. Thanks for that. We do have one more. This question comes from Kevin on the team, PSVG Prime. So the announcement of the remaster of Link's Awakening was the highlight for all at the last Direct. What other game could benefit from this type of thing and have people excited? For me, it would be Super Mario Land 2, where we were first introduced to the infamous Wario. And that was a Game Boy game, right?
That was, yeah. Wow. I could see that. I could see a weird thing like that. So he's saying basically picking a game and kind of doing the whole remaster.
Doing a remaster, but I think he's specifically saying like giving it a new art style, not remastering it to like make it look cool, but like, because Link's Awakening is like, that's brand new. You never seen anything like that before. Like doing something like that, giving it a serious twist on what we think we remember of it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have one off the top of your head? I'm trying to think.
I think we get once a month, and I'm not sure how your questions over there at Planet Nintendo go. I think once a month we get a question asking us what we'd remaster. I think I've lobbed off like 8 or 9 of them in the past year. So trying to sound unique, we were talking about it actually today in Discord. We were talking about the original Xenoblade and how it could really benefit from a remaster. You could redo the looks or make it chibi or something like that. I was gonna say like you could make it like more cartoony or anime-ish. I think you could go in that regard and really make it like really cool. Kind of like a transistor, like a Fire Emblem type thing. So that one's just the one that comes immediately off the top of my head. I'm always down for anything Zelda. But I don't know. The Xenoblade Chronicles is a really good one because the original Xenoblade Chronicles, the OG, is so good. If you played it back on Wii when, you weren't like upset that you were playing Wii, it was so good then as a staunch like Wii defender. I remember trying to tell everybody like how good that game was. Nobody ever wanted to listen. Because everybody, the industry had moved on. They were done by then.
Yeah. I would say more Zelda, man, because like everyone was excited. I mean, including myself, that Link's Awakening was announced. But then, like, I love the Oracle games, and those were Game Boy games too, and
good
those
call.
were so good. Yeah.
Ages and
so
seasons.
I mean, if you're gonna do this art style, maybe not exactly the same, but like
Spirit Tracks.
Yeah, Spirit Tracks. Yeah,
Dude, Spirit Tracks and that art style, I would be down for in a heartbeat.
All right, I have my answer. Okay, Four Sword Adventures for the GameCube. So you have 4 people like all going in on this thing.
Sure.
They used, I don't know what they would use as like a peripheral, because you use the Game Boy screen like whenever you go in houses and stuff, and it would show up on just the Game Boy screen. But a multiplayer Zelda, I could definitely see that.
It's funny because you see that Link's Awakening was marked as possibly being multiplayer, so I think there's something in there that we just don't know about, because they said it was like to be determined or whatnot, like on multiplayer support. Like it just didn't say single player; it said something else, if I remember.
I would like that.
That's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. I mean, there's a limitless amount of things. Like, what if they did Mario 64 just in a brand new art style?
Oh my god!
But like the same game, like as small as that game is now, right? Mm-hmm. If they did it in a brand new art style, I think everybody would play that. Like, what if they did a cel shaded Mario 64?
There would be a lot of mixed opinions on that. One of the art styles that I think we didn't see enough of is the claymation thing, because they did that with Kirby, and then they kind of just abandoned it. I loved the way it looked. Too bad I was looking at the gamepad the most of the time, but yeah.
I'm not sure how you felt about Link's Awakening, but I kind of felt like that. I kept comparing. It reminds me of like those old Christmas movies. It's like this real like material type stuff. Caroline called it like toys in like a box scene, like you're looking down on a box of like toys and stuff. It looks real, but it's cartoon. It's totally like weird and it's awesome. Like I can't wait to play it because it's totally cool, but definitely weird. Like I just never. You could have given me a million guesses, and I don't think I would have ever come to that one then. I'm very, very, very excited. But unlike the diehard Smash players, I am the diehard Zelda fan. I've never played Link's Awakening, so this is a first. Neither. Oh, okay. So this is a first for both of us. This is great. So I'm super excited. I think this will. I'm probably the old school folks would hate to hear this, but I think it's probably going to be the best way to play it. I mean, based on what I've seen in those games, if you didn't play them in that time, I have it on my 3DS, and the reason I stopped playing it is because I was like, well, I don't want to play this. You look at it today, you're like, no thanks.
The Game Boy is rough. But yeah, from what I'm hearing, the story-wise, it ranks just behind Link to the Past. So that's some pretty big shoes right there.
It is some folks' like favorite games. Yeah, it's like some of their favorites in the Zelda series. I think I've done every console Zelda. I've never beaten the original Zelda. I've tried, and I just, again, like the Game Boy, like I think in gaming years, I'm like the younger kid on the thing. I didn't really start gaming until like N64, so I never beat the old one. But all of the 3D ones I've done, basically every one since 64 I've done. I did beat Seasons, never beat Ages, but I played it. I've at least played those, like along the way. But yeah, the old ones I have, that's my blind spot. So I'm all for remaking all of that stuff, man. Redo all of it. What if they did Mario 3 and like a very similar, like instead of the cartoony rate, like in a very similar, like rounded, bubbly, chibi style? I would play that game too.
Yep.
So, and there's lots of things. It's a good question. I mean, because I think everybody has a favorite that they could do, and I'm sure people will say Metroid and all that. The Samus remake on 3DS was really good. I'm all for any Metroid, like remaking them all like that. Like take
I could see
every
that.
Metroid game that has ever been done and remake it in an engine like that and put it on Switch, and I will play it. I will buy it and play it because that game was so good. Not that the old Metroids aren't good, but there's something to be said about modernizing, a game. I never played. What was it? What is it? Metroid 2, right?
Yep.
But what did they call it on 3DS? That's what I'm trying to remember. It's Metroid 2, but on they call it like
What, the 3DS one that they just came out?
Yeah.
Samus Returns?
Samus Returns. I was going to say like Samus Strikes Back or something like that. That's what I had in my mind. Yeah. Samus Returns. So Jason and I beat that together. I think like maybe in like 2 weeks. Like we were in and out of that game. Man, I would never play Metroid 2 ever. And then you release it like that, and I'm like totally down to play it. Yes, because it's new. It's basically a new game. They should do that with all of their games. I think they should be constantly doing that all the time. Everybody should. Yeah. It's not even a Nintendo
Especially
thing.
NES. NES is rough, man.
It's hard to go back to. I feel that way.
Yeah.
As somebody who grew up, like I really started gaming like in the 64 generation. I have a really hard time playing anything that's like pre-SNES, if it's not like a Super NES game. Because that art style is still really good. But anything like that, Game Boy, like even like some GBA games, I remember playing some of those like on Wii U that I never played and whatnot. Like they're difficult. It's just difficult to go back.
Yeah.
You want save states and new design and new models and stuff like that. You want to look cool. It's called video games. The graphics are in the title.
Yeah, NES. I feel like NES, Game Boy, and a lot of the N64. I think they're first in line for remasters and remakes. They haven't aged really well. So.
Yep. So anyway, that does it for our show tonight. Once again, Pat, I'd like to thank you for dropping by the Nintendo Shack. All of our listeners, again, next week we return to Hyrule. I've already done my notes for next week's show. I hope it's not like super long, but it could be. Anytime you get me talking about Zelda, there's no telling the tangents we're going to take. So next week, I believe Caroline makes her return. So that's a big deal. Everybody's like hates, like all of our numbers are down. Everybody hates the show with just me. So Caroline comes back, and then we also have Kyle and we have Devin. So we've got two folks that don't do Nintendo, and they're here to talk. So I'm going to try my best I'm going to try not to impose my beliefs on them, but I'm going to be here as a source of assistance to help them through, and hopefully that they will find the joy that I find in Breath of the Wild. Because I got to tell you, for the last 2 years, when we've talked about it, I've been like, it's probably my favorite game. I don't know. Like, I'm still not sure if I like it more than Wind Waker. I really love Wind Waker.
Wind Waker's great.
This past weekend, I played it again. Like I said, I played it for like 10 hours a day. I was like, this is my favorite game. I love this game. Like, Breath of the Wild is great. Like,
so they haven't played it at all.
Kyle played it for like 5 minutes. Literally for like 5 minutes. He didn't even do like the first shrine. Like, he quit on it in like 5 minutes. He was done. He was like, no, I'm not playing this game. And we're going to get into that next week. I think there's all kinds of reasons that I can drum up about that. There was this whole like PlayStation versus Nintendo, Horizon versus Zelda. There was all this stuff that I think we were caught up in. So now that we're all removed from that, maybe we can all like, put down our rose-colored glasses and actually like have a good debate and a good discussion. And like I said, hopefully I can at least get them to the joy that I get. Like maybe at least get them to understand why I like the game so much. And then,
that should be interesting.
I'm sure Caroline will scream a lot. There'll be a lot of all caps, because we're talking about Zelda, and we do love the Zelda. And, the important thing I completely forgot to mention is, so the plan, so we're going to do this show. It's going to be all about Return to Hyrule. But obviously, we can't beat the game between now and then. We're never going to try to. The idea is that we will check in on them over the next few weeks in like a recurring Shack segment. It's like every episode of Shack, we will have let's check in on the listenership on their return to Hyrule. And listeners, if you want to get in on this, we're open to everyone. If you've got a frustration, a joyful moment, something you've rediscovered or discovered for the first time, anything at all, you want to record your thoughts, put them down on your phone, record a little voice message and send it to me, and we'll put it in the show. Like, that's kind of what we're trying to do. Or if we've got questions, like, if somebody has a question, you can send it in, do it in audio, and we'll try to answer it. And like, we're just going to kind of celebrate Breath of the Wild, I think, for like the next 6 weeks or however long it takes. And then when everybody gets finished or they quit, like, we're not beholding them to finish it. Whenever then, next month, we'll bring everybody back together and kind of like close it out and bury the hatchet. So
awesome.
I'm really
Love
looking
it.
forward to it. But before we go, I would be a terrible host if I'm not already, by at least giving you the opportunity to let everybody know who you are and what you do over there at Planet Nintendo.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I have a YouTube channel, Nintendo Talk. I do a weekly podcast, which we actually just announced is going live, like strictly live.
For 2 hours. Are you sure about this?
2 hours.
You can talk to Bobby for 2 hours.
It's going to be rough, man. So every Sunday, 6 to 8 Eastern, we're going to have a guest every single week. So yeah, double the show. It's going to be strictly live. There is still going to be an audio feed. And then I also post some reviews and opinionated videos over on the channel as well. Donnie was on PMP, so that was cool.
I got to talk Stockwatch. That's what I remember from my appearances. We talked about stocks. I came in as your financial expert. Go to our financial correspondent. Hey there, Patrick.
I'm live from Nintendo of America.
The exchange is down. Sell. Like the Fox News guys with the Stockwatch, where they ring the bells and they do the alarms and all that. That'd be funny. Anyway.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much again for coming, and we will see you next week. Good night, Kooplings.
Peace out.